Did you ever try to pull it out as well? Did you get it halfway in?
You had a trick with a bit of cotton, didn't they?
So legend says.
Yeah.
It does look like it could easily be illegal, but it's not.
Suddenly I've turned into Les Dawson. Ooh, she was a cracking lass.
She wouldn't get off it, and nor would I get off her. So you carry on playing Candy Crush, I'm finishing what I'm doing. Anyway.
You just burnt an image into my retina, James, that I did not want to.
Oh, welcome.
It's time to adjust those shoulder pads, backcomb what's left of your hair, and jump into the DeLorean for a look back at what's possibly the best decade anyone could ever have grown up in.
Shall we play a game?
This is Bring Back the 80s with your hosts James Alderson and me, Andy Jackson.
Welcome to episode 3
of series 2.
Blimey, how are we doing this, James?
We're in the future.
We are literally in the future. This week, we're all about tech and predictions and science fictions.
Yeah.
A lot of things have come true, James.
No.
Yes, a lot of things have come true.
It's like Mystic Meg.
Definitely. But I was going through the clips that we're going to see today. I was really surprised that some of the things, back in the day in TV, when it was even in black and white days, they were predicting stuff that we just take for granted now. It's bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing things out on the TV and just thinking, that's batshit crazy. No way is that going to be a regular thing, And I suppose you're right, but we'll reveal all during this episode. It's me to say reveal all during this. It's far too much whiskey for breakfast, but we'll reveal all in this episode.
Shall we? Stay tuned for that. We're going to do the mystery sound from last week.
Yeah,
and we've also got a brand new mystery sound as well. All will become clear. First of all, this is last week's.
It's the mystery sound of the 80s.
Now, nobody got this one, but somebody did come very close.
I reckon most people said that was an engaged tone.
Most people did.
But it isn't.
No.
Is it the pips when you run out of money on a phone box?
It is. Now, I thought that was so easy.
Well, it's one of those things, when I talk about the 80s on social media, I often try and think of those things that were huge in the 80s, but easily forgettable. Like the weird rainbow pastel striped pillowcase and quilts we all had. The random stuff that you go, oh yeah. And the pips on a payphone were it. They weren't a big part of your life, but when you're trying to tell your mum where you are to get picked up and you just run out of 10 pence and those pips go and she doesn't actually get the road name, it strikes a chord with you.
Those were the days as well. Reverse charge calls. Can you still make a reverse charge call where you had to phone up, had to dial 100, speak to the operator and say, I'd like to make a reverse charge call.
And then they have to speak to that person to see if they're happy with that.
And they say, will you accept that? I've got a call. Sometimes if you had a nice one, they would be able to say, I have a call from your son or from whatever. Yeah. Sometimes they wouldn't even go that far for you.
No, and it's quite essential for my mum to know it was me, because then she could say no, you're all right, I'm not picking him up again at 2 a.m. when I was 11. But so the pips were a big part of your life as a kid, particularly when you were you've got a 10 pence, you want to phone your mum and let her know that you're not coming home, and you try and get the words out. You could just about get the words over the top of them. I've got the pips, Mum. Pips. Hello.
I think you never needed to say the pips are going because they could hear the pips in the other end as well.
You had to say it.
Pips are going. Pips are going. So so that was
Nobody
it.
got that.
No, nobody. Literally, we many guesses saying yes. It's the engaged tone. Yeah. Similar to the engaged tone. It is, yeah. We might save the engaged tone for another one.
Yeah.
Another day.
I think a lot of people are now going, yeah. Pips.
And that's literally the thing where you put I'm going to age myself now. You were saying 10p. I remember when you could do, it was 2p.
2p?
And 10p. You had a 2p and a 10p. So 2p gave you about 10 seconds and the 10p gave you slightly longer.
And that's where back in the day where you'd say it and there wasn't actually a wire that carried it. It was just a person that heard you say it and ran to where you wanted the message. Or they just scribbled it onto the back of a pigeon and set it free. But wow, 10 pence. Now, it was a 10 pence. And I remember that as soon as I answered, you waited, pushed it in. As soon as I answered, hello, push that 10
Did you ever
in.
try to pull it out as well? As you get it like halfway in and
People
pull
had a
it
trick
out
with a
again?
bit of cotton, didn't they?
So legend says,
Yeah.
but I'm not quite sure whether that was definitely a thing or not. But it's for people who are born now, the idea of not being able to be in contact with the world 24/7 is just unthinkable. I know Facebook went down. I think by the time this goes out, Facebook went down for an hour.
Yes.
And people were saying, what are we going to do with
I had
ourselves?
to stare out the window for a bit.
Yeah.
It's amazing what's out there now.
You have to talk to people as well if you got like your other half in the room. Because I don't know about you, James, in your house. We're both on our phones just scrolling through.
Yeah, we're not in the same room.
Very sad. Very sad indeed.
Yeah, I said, can you get off of that? I said, I'm in the middle of something here. And it was embarrassing, but she wouldn't get off it. And nor would I get off her. So I just carried on.
Just carry on regardless.
You carry on playing Candy Crush. I'm finishing what I'm doing. Anyway.
You just burnt an image into my retina, James, that I did not want to see. But anyway, so that was last week's. It was the Pips. Well done for getting that. We've got a brand new one for this week, and it sounds a little bit like this. It's a TV show.
Oh, okay.
Not a million miles away from where we're sat now. I think it's just a short taxi ride down down. I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to give it away. But it was a TV show. If you know what that is, let us know on the usual socials. Leave a comment on YouTube if you're on YouTube at the moment watching the podcast, because that is why just listen?
Yeah.
When you can watch as well. Yes.
And do you like this?
It's brilliant. Yes.
Because they're doing the future. I've got obviously last episode I did it on purpose. I forgot my car t-shirt.
Wrong car.
T-shirt. Brought the wrong car. And I've got the right car and this is the DeLorean Motor Company branded t-shirt, obviously from Back to the Future, because we're talking about the future. And this is Marty McFly's body warmer, as we called it back then. Now twats call it a gilet.
A gilet. Oh, a gillet.
Gillet.
The
best a man can get. Yeah. That's what I used to say as a kid. So yeah, this is, it's a bit small for me, obviously. But Marty McFly's tiny guy. So so I've got this. We've got the boots, because I don't know about you, but watching a lot of films, not documentaries, but films that predicted the future, like you say, there tends to be quite adult, like Terminator and Alien and all these science space things. And so when I was a teenager and a youngster in the 80s, Back to the Future actually was like a documentary for me. When he went to the future, that was how the future was going to be. And it's amazing. And he had these boots.
Are these the ones that lace themselves up?
They go
like that.
Yeah, they're a bastard. These aren't the actual ones because they're about $2,000, and I'm not that loaded. Don't tell. I've got no money actually. If the wife's listening, so these are just a knockoff ones, and hoverboards, obviously all that.
Hoverboards
stuff
became a thing, didn't it? As well.
Yeah, but they were on wheels.
They
weren't
were on
they?
wheels.
Jesus.
I'd like to say with these self-lacing shoes, as a very old man now, these are my Skechers, which have got laces.
Yeah.
But you don't have to lace them up. So these have come to the future now.
Yeah, that's it. It's weird, isn't it? That as kids, we were excited about not having to lace shoes up, and 45 years later, we're like, thank Christ, I don't have to do these shoes up. Get us a shoehorn, love, will you? It's the future.
It's just like, the thing is, though, they're just like plimsolls, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Kind of like plimsolls.
No, plimsolls are the worst shoe with no sole. Weirdly, they were just felt like you were landing on concrete every day, even if it was on a trampoline. But it's funny that you mentioned that. No laces required would be wonderful. Velcro.
Oh my God, yes. all the comforts is what we need as we get older and bigger.
Yes,
we just need the stretchy belts and everything should stretch.
I find a zip an absolute bastard now because my belly gets in the way. And I'm trying to do it up, and I'm like, I can't see this I can't see it. Can you do this? And I'm asking the wife to do it. I'll get my mittens on with the string in between as well, and the wife will be trying to help me get my zip on so I can go out in the cold.
It's nothing better than coming home as well when you've been out and you've been wearing trousers or jeans. Nothing better when you get home to put some tracky bottoms on with the elasticated waist.
You can breathe out.
Oh, it's just like a relief of getting in, isn't it?
I know. Burst a couple of buttons off your shirt because you forgot to put your comfy sweater on as well. You relax in your tracky bottom. You go, and then buttons go, hit the dog, hit the cat. Brilliant. Yeah.
My wardrobe full of shirts, I used to have quite a selection, but I'm down to about 3 or 4 now that I have to rotate with. And they were the ones that I bought that were on the large size at the time, and now they only just.
Our next episode is all about clothing.
Yes.
So maybe you could bring some of those classic items in that you just about fit into. Do you remember? Because the 80s, everything was baggy. Certainly, they wanted to there was no sort of snug fit, obviously for the ladies, but for gents, it was all kind of hanging shirts, hanging sort of long things, t-shirts, everything baggy. So maybe bring some of them in.
I'll do what I can. I'll see if I can remember the next time. That's for next edition if we make it that far. This one though, we're doing sort of sci-fi as we said and predictions for the future. Here is one that has come true. I did say there was a couple that come true. Have a little gander at this.
Okie dokie.
Imagine a vehicle that can drive you 5 miles for a penny. A vehicle that needs no petrol, just a battery. And that takes the press of a button to start, the squeeze of a lever to stop. That needs no license, no road tax, and you can drive whether you're 14 or 40. A vehicle that costs just £399. The Sinclair C5. It's a new power in personal transport. The Sinclair C5, £399. Want to buy one? Want to see one? Or simply want to read all about it? Just dial 100 and ask for a free phone C5. Now.
Wow. The whole family can look like twats.
Do you know what? £399 back in 1985 when those were released to the world was, I can't do the numbers in my head, but it's a lot of money. What is essentially a toy, really.
Yeah, you see them now and they were death traps, without a doubt. You were below the eye line of most cars. I don't think they had wing mirrors, or if they did, they weren't great. The steering was under your legs somehow.
Why was because you were sitting there watching them on that clip, and the steering was not where a steering wheel should be. No, it was underneath your legs. Why on earth would they do that?
It's like if you could possibly get a worse Robin Reliant, that's what it was. It was smaller. It was 3-wheeled, so you were steering under your legs with a single wheel at the front, and you lost friends. Because you had one and they didn't want to talk to you anymore. For the first 3 months, everyone was like, that's amazing. Yeah. What an amazing design. Good old Clive Sinclair. And then done it again.
People started getting killed because you were out of eyelight. So they brought, I seem to remember, they brought out a flag that you could put on the back with like a little bright orange thing so that you would have, like you would have on a golf buggy or something.
Just ridiculous. Also, people started getting killed because they owned them. People just went on the hunt for a Sinclair C5 owner. No, it didn't. But, I think I saw one when I was younger. I saw one recently, actually. I think it was just a bit of a laugh. But they're now, you can get them now secondhand for about £799. They're quite sought after, between £799 and about £1,000. And yeah, they're just plastic. They're just a hunk of junk.
Yeah, they are. They are like a kid's toy. Yeah. I just want to read a bit from the press release when they brought these out, because this was launched in London on the 10th of January. And
what year does it?
This was 1985.
Yeah,
mid-80s. Yeah. And they say there's now, as we mentioned, Sir Clive Sinclair was the Elon Musk of his time, wasn't he?
For England.
So they say the event was staged in Sir Clive Sinclair's usual glitzy style, which means there were women handing out press packs and a variety of promotional giveaways, including magazines, hats, pullovers, T-shirts, key rings, sun visors.
You had me at pullovers, mate.
Baggies, mugs, bags, and there was even a C5 video game. Now, I reckon if anybody's got a C5 video game, that's got to be worth a fortune.
I think if you've got it in a cassette or with the booklet that came with it, to Sinclair, obviously, with the Spectrum and stuff, it makes sense that he'd do a game with it. But yeah, it's got to be definitely quite a rare piece,
isn't it?
It's got to be. Who's going to keep that? But yeah, women handing out merchandise,
key rings and things.
Stockings and suspenders. No, they weren't. But that was Yeah, I mean, it was all about the merch, wasn't it? And that was the height of it, wasn't it? Mid-80s, for anything that happened, it was always about giveaways, whether you're a bank or a film producer or launching a new product like this. To have a carrier bag, a key ring, anything like that, pencils and things, kids would flock to it. But $3.99, I think that quickly the momentum, the wheels came off. The wheels
did literally come off.
Came away from that sort of truck. I don't know what it was, electric, but I think it was an option to pedal it. I think I've got a funny something in my head was telling me
they didn't mention that in the advert, but I can imagine because they didn't have the battery technology that we've got now.
Yeah,
so it would have just been a car battery, a big old milk float battery. Or something.
Yeah, you certainly couldn't do 250 miles in it.
No.
I
like the selling point as well, though, that you could drive it at 14.
Yeah.
So you would have thought that any rich kid, of 14, but you should be thinking, "Oh, I've got to have a C5." Never did I ever see somebody of 14.
Did you see many in London? I'm guessing that's more prolific in London.
I might have seen one or two, but I think there was more hype than reality of these things because they're like they're just like a little shopping trolley.
Right. Yeah, it's like a Fisher Price car.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, you could, it was for 14, right up to 40. Okay, so even the old folks.
We're disqualified now.
It's weird. I was just having a chat today to a mate saying, people in their 40s wore cardigans and brogues and corduroys. So if you mention someone in their 40s in 1980, it was like, oh, Christ, okay.
But 40s is like 60s now, I would guess, isn't it? So it's like, back then,
yes,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think you start to get old in later years now, if that makes sense. Because somebody who was 60 back in the 80s was just ready.
Game over.
It was game over. Game over.
Nobody in their 40s wore jeans and trainers.
No,
in the 80s. We're back to clothing again. This is mental, isn't it? But we can't wait. But I don't. My mum didn't wear. I don't think she did. Maybe she did. Certainly didn't wear trainers in the 80s.
No.
And nor did my dad. So the Sinclair C5 was definitely the first electric, apart from a milk float, the first electric vehicle that was out there on the streets, and it failed. Brilliantly,
because it was rubbish.
And
I think at the end of the day, was it rubbish, deadly? Whatever. If you think about it, though, milk floats were the future, but we didn't realise back then that they were the future. And now milk deliveries is, it's becoming a much more of a thing as everybody tries to get eco and save the planet. Yeah. If you can have your stuff delivered by a milk float, all well and good.
Recyclable glass bottles. I saw a milk float the other day, which is weird. I thought, how bloody long is his round? 40 years it's taken him to get back. He's still coming back, bless him. But yeah, he's probably got just a very big round. But there are people knocking on your door saying, do you want milk delivered?
Yeah.
I was like, they do it in the shop now. 24 hours it's open. I don't need a milkman anymore, mate. Redundant. But yeah, they're coming back because people want glass bottles again and save the world, save the planet.
Save the planet, save the whales, save everything.
Save it all.
So it's not a bad thing. We're going to be touching on more of those inventions from the future as well. In fact, should we touch on one now?
Hey?
And this is this is another one that was of its time.
Ever since people started taking photographs, Kodak has been making it easier. First, the roll film. Then, the preloaded cassette. The easy-loading cartridge, and an even neater one. Now, the disc. After 10 years research, an incredible new film. Kodak's new wafer-thin disc film. So thin, we were able to develop this amazing new slimline camera, the Kodak Disc Camera, designed to give you more good pictures. It's easy to load and has the technology to do everything for you. You think pictures, it thinks of everything else. No need to focus. Automatic exposure. Automatic flash whenever needed. And automatic wind-on. You'll find it's the easiest way to take more good pictures. So, keep it with Kodak and the new Kodak Disc Camera. It thinks of everything.
10 years research.
10 years research.
Get back in the lab, mate.
And the thing is as well, those pictures that they took, that used up the entire disc.
Yeah.
Because there were 15 on each disc.
Oh my God.
And I think the whole reason they did it was to make the cameras sort of thin and small, didn't they?
Fit in your pocket.
So kind of, now we've got cameras that fit in our pocket, and do everything now, but you can take more than 15.
And they cost I remember at the Kodak disc thing, they cost a fortune. It wasn't your average £9.98 true print jobby. It was, you had some money if you had to process one of those.
And the thing is as well, the pictures on them were actually, the picture quality got steadily worse and worse. Like with the big, the 35mm film, fairly decent pictures. But by the time you got down to these tiny little disc cameras,
the Viewmasters,
just absolutely.
Do you remember them?
Yeah.
You looked through them and thought you were space age then. Like, cha-chung. Oh, it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Cha-chung. Oh, the Colosseum. Cha-chung. House of Parliament. It's like, God, what am I looking at here?
I had one of the Isle of Wight. And they went round there. There was a
jet set travels.
There was a model. I forget where he is, and I don't know whether it's still there, but it was a model village on the Isle of Wight.
Oh yeah.
And somebody had gone round. It was literally you're in the model
village. Yes. Oh God. Oh, that was basically a Viewmaster, wasn't it, for grown-ups?
Yeah.
He was like, take the pictures, and then it moves around. And someone's come 10 years. Go in the lab, mate, and I'll see you in 10 years and come up with something decent, will you? And he's just seen his kid's Viewmaster and gone, I reckon we could do that.
We could copy that.
Just have that. I'll have 9 years off. That's all that's happened.
That was, it seems to me that was technology for the sake of technology.
Yeah.
Things were, although it was a new thing, it was actually in the more cameras they made, the worse they got.
Oh, definitely. And shortly after that, they did go on to a memory stick, wasn't it? It was in the 90s, they started doing little memory
sticks.
Memory sticks. It's not, is it, though? What is it? An SD, like little tiny little things. It's weird anyway. So that was very short-lived, and it went on. People went back to traditional camera. In fact, I went into my local Boots recently. In the corner, they've still got photo developing section of Boots.
Yeah.
It's like, does anybody work in there?
But the thing is, my son's at uni, and he is all about the film camera.
Yeah.
And he loves to take stuff on a 35mm camera and then send it off.
Yeah.
But bizarrely to me, instead of getting prints made, he gets digital copies that he can then look at
email to him
on his phone. Yeah. It's weird. It is weird.
Yeah, I know that there's the craze of the portable camera. A lot of kids doing that. Those little disposable Kodak cameras that we all used to have at weddings and stuff like that. I've seen quite a lot of kids doing this. And it's weird because that was like the future for us. Just take a portable camera on holiday. It's got 20 snaps or whatever. And it's like, that's great. I suppose just throw it away afterwards. But now they're doing it for fun. They're doing it like, well, why not? Let's have a mess about. But we were like, whoa, this is brilliant. Look at this. So it's strange, isn't it? The way that they look at things as just a nonchalant sort of have a go, bit of a laugh. And we thought it was brilliant.
And the thing is, though, we were always disappointed by the way the pictures came out because the cameras were rubbish, to be honest, with little tiny horrible plastic lenses and a tiny little weak flash. And if you were taking, say you were at a wedding and you were taking a picture, all the people at the front would be, when the flash went off, would be bright white.
Yeah.
And in the distance, everybody would just be in the murk.
Yeah, with red eyes.
With red eyes, with always red eyes.
I knew Vietnam was evil. Look at her eyes in this.
And used to get them back from the developer as well, with little notes of what was wrong with them, like saying, not enough light, this one's overexposed.
Don't get your cock
Don't get your cock
Too many tits in this photo. Label over it. Yeah. It was always difficult to go back and pick them up from Boots on it when he'd done some rude ones. I never did, but I heard that it was ridiculous. But no, the shot, the photos, there was always a couple, and you'd always collect them from the developers and go and sit outside and look through them. You can't go home and go look through them. You get that envelope, wouldn't you? When you picked it up, and you'd sit on the bench and go through and go, oh, look at that, that's you. Look at that, that's you. Mind you, these days, photos, they're all of you, aren't they?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's the thing, though, as well. The photos that you took were never of yourself.
Not really.
You couldn't do.
I know.
Selfies weren't a thing.
No.
Think about it. Nobody ever. Look, I'm going to take a photo of myself. You just would never.
No, it was
you
difficult
would never
to
do
but
it.
You wouldn't think about doing it either.
No.
So you were taking photos of your friends and the things that are happening around you. A lot of photos are bugger all, to be honest. There's a lot of empty shots of a building.
Landscapes.
Yeah, weird stuff, like coach just parked up on the side of a road. Like, that's the National Express barrier we took. Oh, great. I'll love looking at that in 40 years' time. Lots of weird photos, like, oh, that's the shop you went in. Do you remember? Yeah. But nobody you recognise in it. And so your mum used to say to you, always make sure there's people in the photo so that you can remember who you went with, what you were doing. But yeah, it was just... No, now, I think in the future of 40 years, they'll be looking back and, who's that, Nan? Oh, me. Who's that then? Me. Who's that with the dog ears and the dog nose? That's me. Who's that with the Harry Potter glasses on? Me. Who's that doing that and with the tongue out? That's me. Oh, that's weird. Is there anything else? No, just me. And they got 7 photo albums of me. It's what are we doing there? Oh, it was abroad then. You wouldn't know.
No.
You'd never know.
This is the thing as well. You would never if you... Back then, when you had a camera, you would go. If you went to France, you would take a photo of the Eiffel Tower.
Of course you would.
But now you would take a photo of yourself.
Yeah.
At the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, and you might get the Eiffel Tower in it.
You might get it,
Or
if it's the Leaning Tower of Pizza, you have to do the obligatory. Oh, look at me! I'm holding it.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, you might have done that back in the day, to be honest. But these days, it's more important to show that you've got a Louis Vuitton bag on your shoulder.
Yeah,
and that you're sticking your tongue out and doing some V's.
The thing is as well that it is all about, I just can't comprehend it, because now you can actually hire fake private jets to take photos on so that you can, it's like a set of a jet, so you can take your own photos
to look like
you're on a private jet going on holiday.
We'll be doing that in the next episode. So in our shoulder pads for our clothing. So look at that, we're in a Duran Duran video.
In this episode, it looks like we're in a second-hand shop, James.
How dare you?
Quite possibly your garage.
It's a lot more organised than my garage is. Crikey. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good. Lovely.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Just want to mention as well, by the way, we're just going back to the to the mystery sound. I didn't mention prizes on offer.
Oh,
bring back the 80s t-shirts.
Yeah, bring back the 80s t-shirts in any size. It goes up to middle-aged sizes as well. And it's lovely. It's lovely, and it lasts a long time. It's got our logo on it, and it's got all the graphics and Pac-Man and all the roller skates and VHS tapes on. Or you can come to any of my shows, not my shows, but the shows that I run: the Stitches Comedy Club, Comedy All Stars, Comedy at the Tower, all that sort of stuff. So if you guess that, what was it? A clip from
a clip from a TV show this time round.
Oh yes,
very famous, with a bit of a local connection as well, without giving too much
Southern
away.
England.
Yeah.
So yeah, tickets to my shows or a T-shirt if you guess it.
Let us know by the usual channels. Leave us a comment on Facebook as well. Time for the next thing now.
Oh yeah.
James's special lunchbox surprise.
It took me a while to realise what the hell we were doing. Now, obviously, the future, I've got the lunchbox in this because as a kid, this was the future, right? Dixon's, and it's got Seisho at Dixon's.
Yeah.
You went in Dixon's, and what was in there was without doubt futuristic. You would go back there every 4 weeks. As a kid, maybe, I'm sure girls did, but definitely me and my mates, we would go in there in the 80s and they'd have the latest lightweight, slimline cassette player. Something in there that was like, whoa, that brand. I mean, Seisho was obviously a big deal, competing with Sony and the like. But Dixon's, to walk in there in those glass cabinets, everything was in glass cabinets because it's so bloody expensive.
Yeah, you needed somebody to come and unlock it for you as well. Yeah,
and they did. The best for me, I think, mid-80s was the tiniest cassette Walkman. There was basically the size of a cassette. Tiny and state of the art. And yeah, Dixon's, pre-Curry's really, Dixon's was the ultimate, wasn't it? So have a little look in there.
And Mike, now before we came on with this, you said that you didn't want to fold the bag.
Don't want to damage the bag. Don't damage the bag.
I'm going to let you take that out of the bag. You might think I'm jesting and joking, but James wants to look after his carrier bag.
I just don't want you to be so nonchalant about it, really, Andy. It upsets me. I'm not going to open this. You open it.
I'm going to open it.
I don't mind you, but it is looking a bit tatty these days. But because it's about the future, I thought I'd open this. Let you have this because for me as a kid, this felt special. This felt like I've got one as well, and it's what we used to call space dust, or like a magic dust, or excuse me, that coffee is really giving me some congestion. And now they call it, of course, popping candy, for Christ's sake.
Well, if you call it space dust or whatever, that will. We say the words. If we say the word space dust, instantly this will be blocked. Yeah.
And it's got the. It's called popping candy. Everyone knows what it is, and it was just something. It was never wasn't classed as. I wouldn't even class it as a sweet. It wasn't something that you bought with your money and thought, if you had a bit of extra money, you'd get some of this, because this isn't going to fulfill you at all. This isn't
just a taste sensation,
and
isn't
a bit of a it's still a bit of a silly.
There might be people who have never seen this before, so it does look like it could easily be illegal, but it's not.
Oh dear, I put so much in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yours is doing it. Mine isn't doing it, I think. Oh no, it is. We just got another half out of this. Sorry, everyone.
Thing is, though, what I've only just realised, I was doing this now. When we swallow it, it's going to be doing it inside.
Was it? Oh yeah, it's not as poppy as it used to be. I remember it
Health
really
and safety.
bouncing around your mouth.
Health and safety, James.
You got some in your beard.
You should have left that there.
I should have done. It used to really bang around your mouth, didn't it? It's still doing it.
Still on the go. Yeah. That is something I've not tasted for and not felt that sensation now for literally decades.
Yeah, I said that to the wife actually yesterday. So it's as I say, that's something that if your mum gave you 20 pence, you'd go down to the newsagent, and if what you wanted was actually 10 pence and you had 10 pence spare, or 5 pence or whatever that was, you'd get that. You wouldn't only get that because you wanted a chocolate bar, you wanted a bag of crisps or whatever it was. But popping candy is just one of those things, or a space dust or whatever it was. Just it wasn't quite the same as that, but it was just felt similar. Special. Yeah, there's such a special thing, just a real magical sort of sensation in your mouth that would never get in anything else. These days, they put it on things, don't they? You get it on a cookie, you get it on a cake, or you get it on a crunchy ice cream. They do it, Magic Blast, Crunchy Blast things. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy that as well. And I think that was perhaps one of the most artificial things that you could have. Now we're used to everything being completely artificial, but that was proper. There was nothing like, it's not food. No, it's just literally sugar.
There's no vitamins
and sugar and shit.
Dare I read it? It's got carbon dioxide in.
Oh, well, that's always good, isn't it?
Lactose. Oh no!
Oh my god!
No, I can only have oat milk. It's got proper milk in this. Shit!
And that's what you'll be doing.
Wow! It's got bloody 400 calories in 100 grams. This is only 7 grams, so it's 40 calories in this. Oh dear!
It is pure sugar
therapy after
and
this.
Chemicals, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah.
Isn't it funny though? In the 80s, we weren't all huge and fat.
No, because I only had 7 grams of popping candy. Mum gave me 10 pence, and that's your lot. Yeah, I mean, the food-wise, the future in the late 70s and into the 80s, poor people like my family could afford things like microwaves and VHS players, and microwaves seemed to be the future. They seemed to be the thing that finally we were getting this tech that we'd always
people
heard
were
about.
Scared of them for a while.
Yeah, well, we didn't. We could afford a microwave, but we took the risk. We couldn't afford sandbags to put around it, so we just rolled the dice, Andy, and just thought, let's see if we die of this little nuclear device in our kitchens, because it was all over the papers. It's like it could radiate your brains.
Yeah,
it could do anything. It could kill your dog. Don't stand in the kitchen whilst it's going off. Your mum would cook something in the microwave, like the people who X-ray you in hospital. Just go and set it off and stand outside the door like that. Okay, bing. Right, safe to go back in. Wearing a lead apron.
As a child, though, we didn't care, because you would it was almost better than the telly.
Yeah,
watching close up something going round and round. Yeah, and seeing it start to go.
Watching your food, because here you see
we were starved.
My wife's lucky. Well, we weren't. Well, we got microwave food. It was lovely. But my wife loved it when I saw this and bought this. 2 microwave egg cookers. So you put your eggs in there. From Microwise, see what they've done there?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's microwaving. And cooking times will vary, of course, to different makes and wattages of microwaves. We recommend you experiment to determine the correct cooking time for your microwave. P.S. Good luck. No, I don't know what it is. What a phrase. Just have a experiment.
So did the eggs go? Remind me how they work. Did the eggs go in the hole?
Put your eggs in the hole.
Did you crack them or just put them in?
You cracked them into it. And the cook and serve egg cup, and you just popped it in, and they honestly look like something from some sort of sperm donor. They're just not very pleasant, are they?
Let's have a look at that.
That is rank. I mean, have they ever had eggs in? I don't think they have. Oh, no, they might have done. Oh, God. Anyway,
I remember having one of these.
Really?
I can remember having one. I think it's one of those things that you would buy because it looked kind of futuristic.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's far easier just to fry an egg,
in a pan.
Isn't it? Come
it is.
on.
By the time you've done all this. And this was a big thrust of the future. And I think it's always been the way, even back in the 50s and 60s with fridges and stuff. It was all about convenience foods. It was almost like because of the space travel and the shuttle and everyone getting food in packages and little packs. We thought, it's the food processor, microwaves, blenders, all these things that were coming into the kitchen that was now affordable. Mums were trying to sort of, I guess, shortcuts to getting foods. I've got these food processor cooking, Moulinex, meals in minutes. Look, a little bot.
I thought that was a top trumps thing.
Well, I think it probably is for the foodie. But it's like, whoa, lasagna in 4 minutes. So Moulinex does make things simple. And that includes surprise. And this is made in Western Germany.
James,
of course it is.
James, I love. Can I just inspect that? I promise I won't open it.
Please don't. It's sealed. From 1981.
This is how obsessed James is.
No.
This is wrapped in its original cellophane. This has got to go for the final episode, James. This is going along with the Corona bottle that's never been opened.
The Blockbuster crackers. That was 1981. That's lasted for 43 years. And then I've got the food processor books, which, based on the spines, have never been opened either. Lancashire hot pot broccoli souffle. I mean, what more could you want?
What more?
A mushroom layer loaf. I mean, what the shit? Pork and peach casserole. I mean, no, I'm surprised we didn't die of starvation. Some of the stuff that the Sainsbury's food presser department were, and look, but what you've got to remember in some of this, if you want the future, is right here, ladies and gentlemen. Every recipe is illustrated in colour.
In colour?
I mean, come on.
Well, the top trumps cards for foodies that you're giving me here, they've actually got instructions for how to use these cards on the back. Here.
Them. Yeah.
And it says, simply place the method side of the recipe card chosen face up in the pack, place the pack back in the case, and put on the see-through lid.
Yeah.
So you actually... Why would you need... Why would you need to do that?
Because this is space age. This is the future, mate. These cards. It's just so brilliant. It's such a technological breakthrough. This is the future we're looking at right here. Moulinex have done top trumps, and they need you to know that you've got to put them face up, seal them in. You don't want to get your mushroom layer loaf all over that, do you?
Yeah.
You want to wipe your peach and pork casserole straight off of that bad boy. Oh dear. Yeah. So it's. Ease and convenience was really coming in the 80s, and we'd heard all about it in the 70s on Tomorrow's World and all that nonsense, and then in the 80s finally it's becoming affordable, and it was like, wow, look at this. We no longer were having orange kitchen equipment, kitchen appliances. Remember, everything was orange.
Orange
Tupperware, orange blenders, orange mixers, and now it was just becoming nice silver cream just in the kitchen, and Mum was happy, and Dad didn't know anything about it.
Dad's never cooked. Dad's never, ever. In fact, this has all come together like a plan. You mentioned Tomorrow's World.
Yeah.
Mentioned Dad's never cooking.
Yeah.
Let's do our next clip here.
It's almost like it's produced this, isn't it?
Almost.
It's weird. I didn't know what's happening.
Hello, Nora.
Hello, darling.
I shall be home in 10 minutes. Is dinner nearly ready?
Not nearly, but in 10 minutes it will be.
Well, the reality, of course, is that the progress towards a true video phone has been painfully slow. But now, I'm going to route the very first video phone call in the country through to Portsmouth, where Maggie's waiting.
Hello,
Maggie.
Howard.
Hello, Maggie.
I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you. I like yours too. Nice to see you, Maggie, and to talk to you.
Right. Well, I hope to see you next week then.
All right, see you soon.
Bye-bye.
That's bloody brief.
Was
Maggie doesn't like him, does she? All right, see you next week, mate.
That was the future. I know, isn't that amazing? The first ever video call, so they say, into Portsmouth.
Portsmouth.
What are the chances?
It's the future.
What are the chances?
Lots. Everybody wants to phone Portsmouth.
Did you see the size of that great big desk phone?
Quite a handy little mobile unit.
It was if you're not watching this on YouTube, and we had always advised to watch on YouTube, it was the size of a small house. Yeah. The other thing I noticed as well was that you only got the video from that. They were still on actual corded phones.
Yeah.
to speak into.
Yeah.
So you had this great big thing that would sit on your table.
Had no microphone attached to it.
No, it was about the size of a telly on your table, but you still. Can hear you popping it again. You still
Stop it.
You still needed to actually have the landline so that they could hear what you're saying, rather than just what you look like.
I wonder. I'd be quite upset if I phoned Maggie Philbin and she went, "All right, James." I'm like, "All right, Maggie." She went, "Right, I'll see you next week then." Hang about. I've got a bloody screen here. I can see you, love. Please stand there for a bit. Let me look at you.
You remember how much the calls used to cost, though?
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine how much a video call would cost? Oh, my God.
No, one mind you, if you can afford a half of a house worth of technology, you can probably afford a phone call. Now, I remember my cousin got a Amstrad. This would have been the early 90s, to be honest. An Amstrad video phone. 499 quid. 499 quid. I was like, Jesus, you've made it, mate. And but the problem was that there was only one other person he knew that had one. So he's phoning everybody on a normal phone, not seeing anything, just a black screen. And then he phoned the one person that he probably got to really like, just because he could see them. And it wasn't Maggie Philbin. I mean, if it was Maggie Philbin,
you'd have been there.
She was a cracking lass. Suddenly I've turned into Les Dawson. Ooh, she was a cracking lass. But she was good. She was a liar, but she was great. She lied on every Tomorrow's World, didn't she? We're never going to have to worry about putting our trousers on again, these self-lifting trouser devices and all this stuff. What are you talking about? Flying cars? That was bollocks. We never had flying cars, have we? You said we have flying cars. Well, no, we haven't.
We've not got flying cars. One other thing that they did predict, I didn't do the clip this time, but there was a bit on Tomorrow's World where the guy walked into the room, and he said, "Play Bark," and Bark music came out. So that was like a thing that has happened now.
Well, that's better than now. So because if you said that to Alexa, it would just start barking at you, or it'd say, "Oh, playing Who Let the Dogs Out" by the Baha Men. We're like, no, play Bark.
Oh my God, she is getting. Is it me, or is she actually deliberately getting worse? Is she getting more and more obtuse?
I think that the Matrix is trying to push us to the end quite quickly. So it's slowly breaking down, which is why Facebook went down, Instagram went down. It's just slowly pushing us to the breaking point so that we look back and we go, "Oh God, let's get the old Kodak disc out, shall we, and just take photos on that, please."
It is getting, on the surface, things seem to be getting better. When I moved into my previous place to the one I'm in the living room, it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ceiling lights.
Easy.
And I thought, what a great idea to make them all smart bulbs.
No.
You have to pair every single bulb to Alexa individually.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then I'll say, "Oh, turn on the kitchen lights." And she'll turn all of them on.
Yeah.
Apart from one.
Yeah.
And then that one will be a different colour. And they said, "Turn off the lights," and there will just be one blue one left on in the corner.
Yeah.
Just easier to turn the switch off on the wall.
It is. We're at that point where it just feels complicated, and I'm sure in 20 years when we're nearly dead, it'll be perfect. And you know what will have killed us off? Bloody technology.
Just microwaves.
Sinclair C5 on the A3. Ding ding.
Just by the way, and there's a shameless plug. I know we say to you, if you can watch this on YouTube, then obviously you get to see the magic. If, for instance, though, you can't be, if you're doing something at the same time, you can. If you just say to Alexa, "Play Bring Back the 80s podcast latest episode," anytime, any place.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably get something completely different after what we just said.
Playing Justin Bieber. Bring Back the 80s.
In theory, Alexa, play Bring Back the 80s podcast. You get us.
Alexa likes us a lot.
Do you think so?
No. Do you like this? This is the future. This is what I remember as a kid.
Buck Rogers.
Well, it's very early 80s, so I was very young. But I remember all that nonsense with the droids and the robot thing and the spaceships. It was sort of trying to tag on to Star Wars, late 70s, early 80s. But this is a Panini sticker album. I'm not sure how many stickers were done in it. Oh, looks like a handful. They gave up. But yes, this wasn't mine. But Buck Rogers in the 25th century. I mean, it's awful now. If you have a look at it now,
it was just a shameless rip-off of Star Wars.
It's trying its best, and they spent a lot of money, I'm sure, on it. But the CGI and the special effects were left wanting. But that was the most advanced show ever. Buck Rogers, 25th century. I mean, that's 300, 400 years from now. And I think they got it wrong, a lot of the predictions.
It is. I don't want to fold this the wrong way, so I'm going to very, very carefully hold it up to the camera, James.
Yes.
It is, if you're watching this on YouTube, just a shameless rip-off of all the characters in Star Wars.
And a little robot that's golden.
And she's even got the hair with the weird ear things of the hair, hasn't she? Yeah. How strange.
Let's have a look.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, she's
got they've just basically copied it.
Yeah. But yes, great. Anyway. We digress.
So Buck Rogers. That was a TV. Would you call it a serial?
Yeah, it was a TV series. I think they did do a film or two. But yeah, it was a TV series first, I think.
Because there was a lot of, was it like the $6 Million Man was in that kind of time as well? And that's another thing now that has kind of come to true. Come to with people having implants.
So now our age.
Yes, we need everything we can do to keep the heaps of bodily nonsense going.
Well, 40 years later, we need the self-lacing shoes and we need limbs replaced. So it's very much the 80s predicted how we would be in 2020s.
What is it that when you get to a certain age, though, like when you were young, if you gave yourself an injury, you would have been playing sports or something.
Yeah.
You would have you'd have been running too fast. Yeah. You'd have done your Achilles heel in or something. Sometimes now, if you turn over the wrong way in bed, you can pull a muscle.
Oh yeah. And you used to be like, oh, I've hurt my ankle. And a couple of days later, as you say, fine. Now, if I hurt my ankle, I'd just be like, well, that's me now. That's me. I'm going to be known as James with the gimpy leg. That is the future. Oh, here he is, gimpy leg boy. Gimpy leg man. The old bloke who limps through Waterlooville. That's who he is. And forever. It's never getting better.
No.
He just used to... My son always comes to me and goes, I really hurt my fingers in volleyball. I'm like, mate, give it 2 days. It'll be fine. But I'll be like, I've hurt my fingers and I wake up in the morning and they're on the floor. My fingers have dropped off. That's exactly what happens these days. There's no chance of repair. Oh, I'm addicted to ibuprofen for the rest of my life. Anyway, yes, you're right.
Let's take those implants one stage further with our next clip. We have done this before.
I thought it was Baywatch.
In the 21st century, a weapon will be invented like no other. This weapon will be powerful, versatile, and indestructible. It can't be reasoned with. It can't be bargained with. It will feel no pity, no remorse, no pain, no fear. It will have only one purpose: to return to the present and prevent the future. This weapon will be called the Terminator.
Scary stuff. Did you notice he'd been photographed by a Kodak film because he had the red eyes there showing? Oh, God. I thought they were describing one of my old head teachers then. No remorse. No care.
There was always the one teacher in everybody's school that was universally hated by everybody.
Punch you randomly.
Yeah, or grab you by the, back in the days when you had hair, just grab you by the ear or hair like that. And
somebody had a teacher somewhere called the Terminator. They must have done.
But I don't want to alarm you, James. We're talking about predictions that we've done back in the 80s that come true. Just watch this for a second.
Right.
This is actually now.
Oh.
These are actual robots doing backflips.
Yeah.
Synchronizing with each other. And you can give them weapons and they are actual Terminators.
Yeah, I mean, those robots are handy because they're replacing what I used to be able to do. And now
in your dreams.
So now I can be like, Alexa, do a backflip or something. I don't know. And she'll be playing backflip by Justin Bieber. So it's scary, the stuff they're doing, but hopefully they're the ones that can go fight wars and not take over my house.
I think they're going to take over our houses, James. I think that.
Well, as long as they pay the mortgage, I don't mind.
I don't think we'll be around to care about that. I think they'll just be living in our houses, doing our things,
and cooking the eggs in the microwave.
That is the future.
Oh, bless them. Well, they might work out how to use a food processor and the Moulinex meals in minutes without looking at the cards in the case. They probably know all that in their heads. So let's be fine. Good luck to them.
It's funny, though, that some of the things that have actually come true, because you always think that things never turn out as you expect, but we've got the video phones, we've got the robots fighting, we've got the electric cars, slightly better than the C5,
a little bit,
tiny bit better. I think before long though, James, we won't, when we need to move somewhere, we'll just be able to teleport. I think that'll be the next thing, and you won't even need a car. There's my prediction for this time in 20 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I just like a hoverboard, to be honest, without wheels. Proper pink hoverboard with the word hoverboard on it in yellow and pink, and just hover without wheels. Not with wheels, because that's not hovering, is it, you dickhead? I want a hoverboard. You're going to get a hoverboard in 2046. That's what I would like. But I would, hoverboard, please.
Yeah. I want one of those self-flying drones as well, which I suppose is a kind of like a flying car.
A self-flying
almost.
one.
There are ones where you can sit in them now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't trust them.
No, not with my weight. Is that what you meant?
I think I'll let them get the test and development out of the way for a few years.
Yeah, let's put 5-year-olds in it first.
They can.
If they can manage a 5-year-old, let's build it up. Get a 10-year-old in there. Work away. A normal-sized human, James.
I like the sound of being able to fly anywhere and everywhere. Somehow they'll come up with a way of charging us to park in the sky. There'll be tax and all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
it'd be great. But there's no potholes up there, so that's a bonus, isn't it?
And on that positive note, that is the end of another edition of the Bring Back the 80s podcast.
It's flown by. We are an hour in the future.
We are literally, even what you've just said, James, in the past, we're now there in the future.
Now,
it's gone.
Now it's gone. Now it's the
So next week, next time, it's going to be closed. Now, because your t-shirts are always one episode adrift.
Yeah. I'm going to have some spacesuit on next week.
Okay.
For the future, but it's also clothing. I don't know.
Clothing and fashion and just the look of things. Back in the day, you might find this very difficult to believe, James.
Go on.
For a time, I was married to somebody who was a hairdresser.
Right.
I don't know whether she was just deliberately doing it because it turned out she hated me.
Yep.
I did have a shaggy perm.
Did you?
For a wonder.
Nice.
Sadly, no pictures.
Oh, what a shame.
Have survived.
Oh.
But back in those days, shaggy perms.
And acid perms.
Oh my God.
Did you look like Mad Lizzie from TVAM?
I don't know who the hell I look like. I remember going into work one day and sort of leaving and then hearing people talk about me as I was going.
Oh my
God. What's he done?
I think the worst thing I had was like the curtains. That they had for acid house sort of era, 80s, where they wanted the curtains. And my hair never quite wanted to lay flat to my head. It always had a bit of boof to it. So Mum had to get the straightening tongs out that were so famous from the Avon days to try and straighten my hair to make it go. I mean, it would be lovely to have hair there now to straighten.
I'd be happy with a shaggy perm.
Would you?
If I had hair.
I'd just be happy with a shag.
On that bombshell.
Not from you, Andy. I just want to clarify.
Sometimes, James, at our age, you have to say what you can get.
Okay, well, when this goes off air, just think of me.
And on that note, burned into our collective resonance, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with our clothes and fashion edition.
Go on.
In the meantime, if you could just pass this little podcast on to one person, if you've been laughing to yourself, just send it to one other person. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe.
I mean, if you've been laughing, then please seek medical help.
Do that little thing that says get alerts as well, because I think one time in the future we're going to do a secret live YouTube thing as well.
Live edition. And I think, ideally watch this on YouTube and share it there, because everybody's on YouTube. You don't have to belong to YouTube or give your bank detail to YouTube or have some weird thing. Everyone's got YouTube. So that's the easiest, to share it to your friends and let them see the glory of us in Technicolor Kodak film.
You can watch on your Viewmaster. We say thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Which is the future.
See you next Tuesday.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition. We'd love it if you could subscribe in your favourite podcast app. And don't forget, there's a video version on YouTube too. You can contact us using the links in the show notes and on the YouTube channel. And we'll see you next time for another edition of Bring Back the 80s.